Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, let me see who was here first. Fancy, fancy. Thank you very much. Nubian Queen, hey to you too. Cherry Traveler, hello. Phyllis Johnson and Mary H. Lydia Washington, Rodney Jackson, thank you for being here. And a host of friends and others. All right, let's get on with it then, shall we? Oh, you like that? Yeah, I love that. Sussex Force One. All right. Well, as you can see, I was able to get the slides up and in there, no problem. I don't know what's been happening the past couple of days, but I kept my fingers crossed that it would work. And like, I did a bunch of stunts, and anyway, is here, so I'm pleased. Don't know why that happened. That was so weird. Okay. Uh, go on to the next slide, shall we? So Tyler Perry to be toasted at what is it? Paley. Yeah, I think it's Paley Honors, right? With Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, on host committee. Perry will receive the Paley Center for Medea's highest honor at its gala on December 4th. Oh boy, too bad we have to wait that long. But you know what? That's just enough time to start another diet, to find a dressmaker or a tailor. What else? Oh, to get some, like to get a BBL or facelift or something like that. So I'm not sure if there's anyone they mentioned that is likely to go through any of those things. But there's a whole list of people if you saw the video that I posted earlier. But it should be interesting. So it's Hollywood. You know, sometimes people get a nose job certificate. You know what I mean? You just, like if you go to a wedding or something like that, as a gift, you might open up your gift bag and there's a certificate for some procedure. So very Hollywood. Wouldn't be Hollywood without it. Okay. But yeah, so check out that video when you get the chance. But that should be great. As a matter of fact, let me see here. I'm not going to play the video, but let's take another look at that, shall we? Yep, not that one. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, People. That's it. The People magazine. People, people who need people. And People magazine says, wow, that kid looks a lot like Graham Smith. I thought that was a young Graham Smith for a second there. Oh, and by the way, you guys, pray for the president. Turns out that he has been stricken with the pandemic again. That might explain a whole lot. Okay. Do you know what? Cannot find it now. The article, the one that I made the video from it, should be here. There it is. There it is. So it says the Paley Center announced on July 17th that Tyler Perry will be honored at the Paley Honors Gala in Beverly Hills on December 4th. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex are among the tribute chairs, along with Whoopi Goldberg, Gayle King, Taraji P. Henson, George Lucas, Kerry Washington, and more. So yeah, so some big names, some A-listers, and alike. So sounds pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Just got to wait all the way until December the 4th. That's the thing that really aches, but that gives them plan time to plan an extravaganza, and we love an extravaganza. So take all the time you need, but don't make me wait too long, Harpo. Please don't make me wait too long, Harpo. Oh yeah, they announced that earlier that he was going back to Washington D.C. to isolate. Um, but yeah, he tested before some event or something. But I believe that they tested him because he was showing some symptoms. They said that I think they said that he has like a bronchitis or a congestion or something like that in the upper lobe. So yeah, he needs some rest fast. So okay. Oh yeah, let's put that up there. Uh, where is it? The Amazon wish list, one of my favorite things. Now, of course, no one is obliged to order anything off of this list, but I'm going to post it anyway, just in case somebody feels like it. Wait, where is it? The wish list. But it's fun. No kidding, it really is fun. I love that wish list. Where is it? There it is. And I'm going to post that pin that rather, at the top of the chat. There we go. The Amazon wish list. So it's just for me. It's not for some like other group or organization, nothing like that. Just for my own personal fun. There's some very inexpensive products on there. Okay. And then, of course, the surprise of like, oh, there's something at my mailbox. I wonder what it is. All right. And check this out. Tyler Perry will be toasted at the Paley Honors with Prince Harry and Meghan on the host committee. Throwback to Meghan Markle and the women of Suits at the Paley Center for Media. Wait a minute. The Paley Center, yeah, for Media in January of 2013. So check it out right there. For our Duchess, it won't be the first time that she's gone there. These are like a lot of those things that Meghan had gone to in the past that we knew nothing about. Wow, look at Meghan's tan there. She is very tan there. That is very California. Not nearly as dark as the Princess of Wales was the other day. Wouldn't know that she had been confined to her hospital bed and that they had only just unhooked the PIC line or the IV just before she listened to me starting. we wouldn't we wouldn't know that she had only just literally wheeled herself out of bed that morning, that she had dragged her IV pole down those long hallways of Admiral Hall or Windsor Castle or whatever, begging the team of physicians that are at her side 24 hours a day. Is it okay if I go to the Wimbledon? I mean, after all, I did okay at Troop and the Color. I've been okay on all of these long vacations that we've been on recently, these holidays. Surely I can go. Yeah, you know what I mean? So that is the tannest patient that I've ever seen in my life. You can go to the islands and you won't see anybody that tan. that has been so ill. I'm just saying. I can you tell that that still bothers me? I am still bothered by that. Anyway, down with the crown. Down with the crown. There was a huge turnout today of people with their yellow and black placards um, protesting the king and his consort. They, of course, are looking for a future that includes an elected head of state. There was even a sign that I saw the other day that said, "Would you vote for him?" Probably not. Probably not. But as things go, there are plenty of people who would and have expressed this desire to keep um, Charles or any member of his family as the unelected head of state. So it's a tough habit to break. I mean, you have to and listen. I bear nothing against the people of Britain. If it's important to you, it's important to you. You have spent your whole life being spoon fed this idea that the sun doesn't rise unless the queen is on the throne. I get it. So, um, the thing is that the sovereign is supposed to protect the people. That's why people go along with it in the first place, is under this assumption that if things get really bad, that the sovereign is going to protect us from the parliament, right? But that has not happened. The brutal sanctions and such that have been put on the people by the likes of Thatcher and Boris the Fool, there was no protection for the people. None. So I'm just pointing that out. Take it from me. I come from a government that spent the first 100 years of this nation's history not protecting a huge portion of its population, namely black people. And of course, the First Nation people, the Native Americans, they were hunted down and eliminated. Government didn't protect them. So I know how that is. And such are the empty streets of London. Such are the empty streets. Let me tell you, those people are either coming or going from someplace. They would normally walk on the pavement that you see there, but they can't because that is set aside for the spectators. Hello, hello, hello. Is anyone there? There? Those streets are empty. Empty. Those people are commuting or coming and going wherever they're going, but there's nobody there on the to view the king and the queen consort. Empty. Is this what they really wanted? Wow, that's crazy. That is nuts. I mean, you got to admit, that is shocking. Not exactly a desired outcome from all of the fuss about all about everything. So let me see here. Poor Charles. He waited all that time to be king. Oh, do you see any spectators? It's just so sad. I love it. I love it. I'm just messy and I love it. Okay, so I do have a video. I do have a video. Let me grab that. I'm so glad my slides are working today. I'm actually getting nervous, but I shouldn't be because that was just a little glitch and everything is going to be fine, right? Right. So just relax and do what you're supposed to do. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be fine.
Not my king! Not my king! Not my king! Not my...
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the one from Scotland. I'm sorry. That's the one from Scotland. That's not for today. Let me see. Where is today's Not My King? Not My King. Okay, let me try this. Oh, here's one right here. Well, I don't want to do that one yet. Where is the other one? It's just so sad. So sad. Couldn't have happened to a crueler person. And Charles is cruel. Oh, you guys, he really showed his behind today. He really showed his entire wrinkled behind. He really showed his childbearing hips today. Okay. Well, yes, that's it. Okay, so let me just do this, and I will get that up in just a second. Ha! There we go. Hope this works out. Yes, there we go. Here. I just want to say thank you to the ancestors for making it perfectly clear. As Richard Nixon would say, I want to make one thing perfectly clear: not my king. Or as Richard Nixon said on Laugh-In, sock it to me. I'm old enough to remember Richard Nixon, sock it to me. Anyway, it's just so sad. It really is. And oh, I got a little something I got to show you later. It's one of those things where you ask the question, who's saying that? Where did you get that from? Says who? It is a great says who. But yeah, they really socked it to him. Why did it sound like someone was saying tampon king? Tampon. Could you hear it? I thought I did. Maybe not. Well, it seemed like I heard it. But yeah, poor Charles. Po Charles. He couldn't help it. He was born with a silver. I better not say that again. He was born with a feminine hygiene product in his tea. Okay. And of course, there you go. Would you vote for him? Would you vote for him? Not I. Oh, and I have another little sound bite for you right here. Um, get that going for you. She was, I like her. She seemed very nice. So take another little piece of my heart now, baby. Take it, take another.
Oh no,
Uh-oh.
no, don't worry about it.
Take another little piece of my heart now, baby. Okay. Sock it to me. Why is that so funny to me? Sock it to me.
I'm Sian Berry, I'm the Green MP for Brighton Pavilion, and I'm here to support Republic and their right to speak up against having a monarchy. We've got this enormous ceremony happening later on that is the King speaking on behalf of the government. And this is in marked contrast to the enormous exercise in democracy that we just saw electing the new Parliament. We really do need a modern constitution. I'm very, very pleased that Republic are here today.
Well, we're very pleased that you are very pleased that Republic is there today. So I agree with your pleasure of Republic. Okay. Couldn't have happened to a crueler sovereign. Yeah, it seems that like it's gone from bad to worse. It really has. You know, um, I mm, Charles hasn't. Well, his sensibility is so vastly different from what the typical person could possibly feel, because I think it's a lot to put on a person, anyone, a child at that. This whole idea of being ordained by God, and that you are meant to be of the ruling class and such. And more, there's this idea by a lot of rich people. I thought that because of like modern science and all that we know about world history, that maybe we could probably somehow get away from this idea that some people are better than others, or that there's this innate ability to govern because you know, because of your pedigree or whatever. All of that is a bunch of nonsense. It's just a bunch of selective breeding by a small pool of people who come from the shallow end of the gene pool, that are simply not that bright. And Charles, while he is a very learned person, I think that, and he does have a lot of intellectual curiosity, right? But he still believes in the old ways. He was raised by his great grandmother and his mother and such, and he still believes in the old ways. And um, he'll go along with anything so long as you believe that he is supposed to be in that position. He'll go along with just about anything. So, but I'm glad that he's that both of them really, um, that they're not having an easy time of it. I'm really glad for that. Oh, the Koh-i-Noor. I did not see that. Huh. Let me take another look at that. The Koh-i-Noor diamond. I'd like to see that. Thank you so much. Oh, that's the wrong one, isn't it? Okay, let's try this one. Now we're looking for the Koh-i-Noor. Thank you so much, Myra. Hmm. The Koh-i-Noor. I'm looking for it. Oh, I see it. You know what? I kind of think I did see that, and I didn't finish reading the rest of it. Well, let's see what else does it say. Oh, almost got it. Ha, there we go. Koh-i-Noor diamond. Stole it from a 10-year-old child king, is it? Yeah, they did. They did steal it. And what's so sad about that story is that they kidnapped the child and brought him back and made him present it as though it was really a gift, even though it was stolen from him. Yeah, that is the sad cruelty of it. Yes, it is. Thank you so much for pointing that out. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have seen the rest of it. No, because he's still in the bubble. He's still in the bubble. He still has people that elevate him, which we'll take a look at that later. But okay, let's move on. So, oh, I didn't realize I had put this one right here. Okay, you got to hear this. You got to hear this. Let me set it up for you. So, Graham Smith, you see him there with the yellow shirt on. They invited him on television today so that he could talk about things. And as he's saying what he's saying, and the other panelist that is not photoed, well, I don't have a photo of that panelist. I think it's that crabby old lady that I can't stand that's always on Jeremy Vine. But to be honest, I didn't see her face. But anyway, the crabby old lady, she was saying, oh, that's nonsense. There's a bunch of people there. And as she said that, they went to the live camera feed outside of Buckingham Palace. And this is what the viewers were able to see on their television or electronic device. So I'm going to play the sound for you, but just you could set it up in your own head exactly what that must have looked like watching it live. Woo! I love it. I love it.
There's almost no one out on the street watching the parade this morning. I've been down there already. No, last year there were a few people out there. It's going down. I mean, the crowds at the Trip in the Colour are pretty small. I mean, people are not that interested in the monarchy. And you are in a much smaller minority than I am, as someone who is fascinated by and enthusiastic about the monarchy.
Bit there, doesn't it? There's not a lot of people there at the moment, to be fair. You're quite right.
There's almost no one out on the street watching the parade this morning. I've been down there already. No, last year there were a few people out there. It's going down. I mean, the crowds at the Trip in the Colour are pretty small. I mean, people are not that interested in the monarchy. And you are in a much smaller minority than I am, as someone who is fascinated by and enthusiastic about the monarchy.
Bit there, doesn't it? There's not a lot of people there at the moment, to be fair. You're quite right.
There's almost no one.
So, did you hear that? I don't know if that was the same lady, but she's like, there's not quite a lot of people there. To be fair, you're quite right. Yeah, there's not a lot of people there. How about there's nobody there? There's nobody there waiting to watch them exit the Buckingham Palace to make their way to the Parliament. It's a clean slate. You could literally drive a carriage down Fifth Avenue or down the Mall and not run into anyone because there's nobody there. Look at this one. Look. Where are the people? They had this aerial shot, right? And this is not really showing you exactly how wide open and bare it is. Well, you can see it, but the tree cover and the shadow from the trees kind of conceals exactly how bare the pavement is. But you can just make out the line of the pavement, and there's nobody there but the police. And you know, the police, they usually like look at the crowd. When they had that guy that scared the queen that time, they used to look away from the crowd toward the parade. Now the rule is they have to look directly at the crowd. Well, they are staring at nobody. There's nobody for them to look at. The British media can fabricate stories about how King Charles snubs Prince Harry at least 3 times a week, but they have been very quiet on how crowds have been snubbing Charles, Camilla, and William. The king was snubbed today. No crowds at his parade, said one of the squatties. And that's true. It was a public snub. The kids are not in school, right? It's summertime. They should have been able to pack those streets with people. Everybody knows that the opening of Parliament happens once a year. There's a new government. There should be room for cheers and excitement and celebration. It should be like a big party. I don't even see that little nut job that's at all of the royal events. I don't see him. Where's that guy with that Union Jack suit? Somebody's uncle that's always out there. Where is he at? You don't see any of those people. They usually would interview them just to make the day interesting. I have not seen them on any of the media. None of them. Oh, wait, do I have that? Let me see if I have that. Now, again, the police are supposed to be facing the crowds of people. And this is near the parliament, and there's nobody there. And then that looks like the restricted press area. See how they have that gate in between? Where are the people? Jeez Louise, where are all the people? Black Queen, but where are the clowns? There ought to be clowns. Where are the people that camped out overnight? Are you serious? Now, see, let me go back to that one part. I want to stress this one more time. One more time. You see how those police officers are looking, they have their backs to the carriage. There are supposed to be people there. That's why they're facing that way, even though there's nobody there, because that is the rule. Oy vey. Huh. And this is at the parliament. You can tell because there's those barriers to keep a runaway vehicle running through there or whatever. And so this is as close to the sensitive area that you can get. And there's nobody there. Wow. Wowee. One more time. The British media can fabricate stories about how King Charles snubs Prince Harry at least 3 times a week. But they have nothing, but they have been very quiet on how crowds have been snubbing Charles, Camilla, and William. The only time you see a bunch of people is when they go get kids and bust those kids in. They literally bust the kids in, give them the flags and everything, so that way it looks like there's public interest. There is no interest. There isn't any. And then there's this King Cranky. Charles appears to get frustrated as Page Boy adjusts his robe at state opening of Parliament, days after snapping at aid. Are you serious? Again? And to a child, no less. A child. He literally bared his bottom teeth at a child. Watch his look. First, he snatches his hand away, and then he's like whining. Wait. First, the kid tries to pull the robe over the arm of the chair, which is the way it's supposed to go, right? And then Charles pulls his arm away from the kid, only for him to start winding it back and forth like he's cranking an old car. Pull it back, pull it back. Wait, I didn't go back far enough. And then somebody's phone went off.
My lord,
Can
pray
you
be
believe
seated.
that? Can you believe that? The nerves. The nerves. Getting all crabby with the child. It's time to stop this nonsense. It really is. What you do with their parents is one thing, but leave those kids alone. That was very tacky. Very tacky. He's trying to adjust the robe. Charles initially snatches his arm away, like, turn loose my doggone hand. And then he's like, fix it, fix it, fix it. He better be glad that wasn't me, because my mama would have embarrassed that old thing. Yep. The whole family would be in jail. What nerves? All I can say is what nerves. Yeah, Black Queen. It's embarrassing a child like that on television. Anyone knows why William and Kate weren't at the state opening of Parliament? They weren't there in 2023 either. There's Charles and Diana, and Charles and Camilla as Prince and Princess of Wales were typically there when the Queen opened Parliament. With Philip, part of the slimming down. So that is what one of the squatties said, and even posted some evidence of Charles and precious, dear, beloved Diana. And of course, there's Camilla and Charles. Now, William did go by himself one year, and Kate did not attend. I do remember that. That was that year that Charles stood in for his mother, and William went on that occasion. Wonder why they're not there. How come they didn't enjoy the empty streets of London along with his stepmother that he can't get enough of? Why wasn't he there? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? I noticed that they didn't have any photos of the state crown making its way to the parliament like they would normally do. You know how they made a big fuss about the state crown being loaded into its own Bentley? Didn't see that today. Okay, and again, there's a close-up. On your left side, you can see cranky Charles. And on the right side, you can see those empty streets. By the way, you all, please make sure you hit the like button. How many likes do we have? How many likes do we have? Only 354 likes. Really? 354 likes? There's 1,000 souls available right now and 354 likes. I can't believe it. I just can't. Oh, well. Let's see. Rohini says, is it me or does Charles not seem to have... Oh, I'm sorry. Let me do this. Much control over Peggy and Kitty. Unlike the Queen, Charles can't get Peggy to perform. No, you know, it's always been that way. It has always been that way. And that's why a while ago when someone said that it didn't seem like Charles was putting enough, I guess, education or knowledge or any job-related instructions out there for William, I don't think William was available to Charles. I don't think William was available to his grandmother. William has been doing whatever William has wanted to do for a very long time. And there hasn't been anybody able to rein him in. He does what he wants to do. I think that most people were just too afraid to ever confront him. There's nothing you can do with a person like that. Absolute tyrant. Lex says, geez, how much money is wasted on Bondugo? What is that? Boondoggle. That is some old English you're using right there, boondoggle. I'm going to say that this had to cost probably somewhere north of, well, let me see, all the extra personnel. I mean, it must be in the millions. I couldn't imagine that it would be anything like, but yeah, it's expensive. And there's no, remember, there are people that fly in from all over the world because of the royal family. I guess they're just hiding in the trees or whatever, or they're looking out the hotel windows. They're not obvious to us, but remember, there's people that fly from all over the world, and that is how the royal family repay the people of Britain because of all of that extra money that they bring. Anyway, thank you so much, Legs, for the super chat. And as always, thank you so much for being here. It looks just like this incident where, remember, they gave him that exploding pen. Remember when he got that exploding pen and he had a complete meltdown? It looks just like that incident. Or how about the other one where there was too much stuff on the table and he had a fit about that? I would imagine that if Philip had been a little younger at the right time, that's exactly what would have happened. I don't think Philip would have put up with it. But Charles, he didn't know what to do. Charles didn't know what to do. And of course, right here, even kings get cranky after Charles was seen snapping at an aide in Jersey. How the monarch's impatient side has reared its head during public appearances. I don't know why they're going all the way back to that thing with Nicholas Winchell, where Charles goes, "I really detest these people." Who cares about that? They're going all the way back to that. There's a whole lot of things that Charles has done in between the opening of Parliament and all of that stuff with Nicholas Winchell. They didn't have to go back that far. How about Charles stripping the security from his grandchild, his son, and his daughter-in-law? I would say that was cranky. Or how about that time he kicked the Sussexes out of their home, evicted them from the only safe space they had in the UK? How about that one? If we're going to discuss how cranky he is, snapping over the inkwell, moaned about being late. Why don't they say moaned about William and Kitty being late? That's why they were sitting out there, because they weren't supposed to enter before those two showed up. They were too busy making a video. Remember that on Coronation Day? They never mention it, by the way, on these talk shows. They totally ignore that. But William and Kitty was late because of a camera crew. That's the thing they always accuse the Sussexes of. And then right there, Charles was angry because no one stepped forward to help pull Camilla's hoof through that coat. He had a meltdown, so he turns around. That's what they meant by since he snapped at an aide the other day. He was angry about that because nobody helped Camilla with her coat. Well, you standing there, you help her. So there they are, two very pissed, angry old people, a couple of pensioners, but for the fact of an accident of birth, and of course the oh, I can't say why she's there, but I can't say why she's there, but you understand. And then, of course, it looks like they decided to get even with that old thing, because right there, it if I didn't know better, I would say this guy was, is that a woman or I don't know what that is. But anyway, I would say that this person was literally trying to drag Camilla down to the ground with that umbrella. They said that the umbrella attacked her. Was it the umbrella attacking her, or was it somebody who got snapped at attacking her? I'm willing to keep an open mind that maybe she rubbed somebody the wrong way and they just had an opportunity to get even. Yeah. Like they wouldn't be satisfied until they see that plastic pulled tight around her face. The facelift that she's always wanted. Okay. Speaking of Camilla's birthday, the year that made Camilla a queen, as King's wife turned 77, how stepping up during Charles' cancer battle has finally secured her position as a respected consort and comforting grandmother of the nation? Says who? Says who? Who's calling her the grandmother of the nation? She's not even supposed to be the queen. She's supposed to be the queen consort. How does she become the grandmother of the nation? This is the other end of that phone call where they were getting excited over feminine hygiene products. Don't sound like my grandmother. I mean, I'd like to think I knew my grandmother pretty well. I don't know that I would ever expect to pick up the phone and hear that on the other end. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that probably did not happen. It would take a particular type to have that exchange over the phone. I don't know that my grandmother had ever stole some other woman's man and then mistreated the stepchildren. I mean, most people's grandmother, I would imagine, are not the evil stepmother. I think that's mostly for Disney cartoons. So hi, Compton Cali Girl. Thank you for being here. Yeah, they were just tussling with her with that umbrella. Wouldn't it have been something if she had got hurt really bad? It looks like stand still, you old, you know what? But see, this is how you get kicked with a hoof. Yeah, she'd have hoof prints all over them if they didn't let go. Do you know how funny that would be if they were really tugging at that umbrella and all you could see is her stepping left and right and back and forth trying to steady herself? I think I would cry myself to sleep laughing about that. And then there was this. Then there was this. Charles was angry. I don't know if he was mad at her or if this is another. Something is not going right because Camilla had her coat draped over her shoulders, right? Trying to pretend like she's Meghan. She's even wearing a blue dress like Meghan's. So she had her coat over her shoulders. And then I believe they were playing the national anthem or whatever, God Save the King. And she stood there, and I guess she thought somebody was going to run over and help her take the coat. Nobody came forward. And so she just kind of inched it back and then dropped it in the chair behind her. And Charles is looking like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to do that. We have people for that. Charles was very, very angry. You can barely see it because of the poor quality of the photo, but he was very angry. So, this is the kind of stuff that happens when you are, let's say, in the position that Queen Elizabeth II was in, where all of a sudden nobody is really listening to you anymore. You understand what I'm saying? Do you remember how everyone started gravitating to Charles? At that point, Charles had made all of the Queen's trusted aides leave and he replaced them with people that he wanted, and nobody was listening to the Queen. I wonder if we're graduating to that part of the succession where increasingly Charles' word means little and William begins to consolidate power away from his father, the same way he did to his mother. Wonder if that's what's happening. Because this is a lot in a short period of time. This is a lot. There's this umbrella attacking her. There's the thing in with the what do you call it? The where was that at? Not this one. Oh yeah, the thing with the robe, right? And then of course, when they were in the rain right there, that was another situation. Instead of trying to get someone to take the coat off, they couldn't get anyone to put it on. And then finally, somebody, if you saw the video, Camilla was flinging her arm around repeatedly, trying to get her arm in that sleeve. It was embarrassing. And I bet you Charles was pissed. Yeah, so everything seems to be going wrong for them. The grandmother of the nation. You have Camilla pretending to cry for the D-Day after she hurt Macron's wife. What's her name? Brigitte. After she hurt Brigitte Macron's feelings, she's sitting there for the D-Day anniversary, pretending as though she's sobbing. Over there on the left side, leading the memorial service for the King of Greece. And then there in the middle at the top, standing in for Charles at the Maundy Day service. And then whatever that is on the right side. And that means what? Well, what exactly does that mean? Does that mean that all of a sudden you're popular? I think not. Okay. Lip reader reveals what King Charles said when he snapped at an aide who left Camilla struggling to get her coat on. Actually, I didn't read the article. I just grabbed this from someone else's thing because I didn't want to, I try to limit my engagement. But it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. You're a man. You're standing there. You help her with her coat. So it says here, King Charles at the last, it's time for a republic. King Charles the last, it's time for a republic. Now, as we discussed the Princess of Wales's second public appearance of 2024 went very well. Kate appeared at Wimbledon on Sunday for the men's final, and she received a standing ovation when she entered the royal box and when she appeared on court for the trophy presentation. ESPN's American commentator mentioned on air during the trophy presentation that Kate has had health issues in recent years. The royalists were falling all over themselves to praise Kate's courage for showing up to Wimbledon before her summer vacation began. It's been wall-to-wall positivity in the American British media. In American and British media, but they can't control social media and they can't control the handful of people, myself included, who wonder if it looks kind of ridiculous that Kate came out for Wimbledon and nothing else. Again, that means me. Lex says, "Can you take the you could take the horse out of the barn, but you can never make it a queen." Is that how it goes? Maybe every horse has his hay. Thank you so much for that, Legs, and thank you for the super chat. Well, yes, is true. You could take the horse out of the barn, um, or what's the other one? You could lead the horse to the pasture or to the water, but you can't make them drink it. Same thing. So, um, yeah, it's she's never really been a lady, as it were. And I don't know at her age who instructs her in the fine art of being a lady. So she's not really from a connected family, as it were. I think her family boasts having military people, not aristocracy. But thank you so much for that. So again, she came out for the eye candy, right? Uh, it was said that the only reason why she went to Troop in the Color is so that she can justify this visit to the Wimbledon. Only if her team of doctors and two Filipino nurses, William's words, not mine, her two Filipino nurses approved of her being there. And so she shows up looking plump and rested, tan. I mean, her face has been pulled back so tight. I don't think my rear tires are under as much pressure as her face is right now. She looks like she's about to explode. That's how tight everything has been pulled. She was away just enough time to look somewhat natural again post um, cosmetic surgery, along with what other medical things were going on, which is reportedly she had abdominal surgery. And then, of course, they found that cancer had been present. Her words, not mine. So, whatever the case may be, there is a lot of things that have happened. And listen, who could blame her for wanting to have some intervention? It must be horrible, absolutely horrible for someone in her situation to age in front of the public. It must be horrible. And we all know um, that this is coming down the pike, except a lot worse. You can only fight it for so long. You can only fight it for so long. And then it's going to be there. I mean, you all saw Pippa at the Wimbledon. Pippa almost looked like her mama sitting there because whatever they've done, I mean, they got out the Bondo, silicone, fix a flat, and everything else to try and make her look different. And that's exactly what they've done. So um, I am going to allege that there has been some work done. I can't prove anything, but it appears as though there's been some work, allegedly, is what's been alleged. That's what people are saying. It's been reported. Inquiring minds want to know. So, Celibacy, well, let me just go with this quote from one of the squatties at the top. She was sitting outside in the sun for a couple of hours with full hair, makeup, and dress, and can't be bothered to Zoom some calls for charities, cancer charities. Wow, with this one. Wow. And that is a great point. You got all this energy to engage and interact with your kids, to go for the school runs, to go shopping, to go for a hike, and obviously take a vacation because, again, look at how tan she is. This is not the English sun. This didn't just happen while she was sitting there. This is how she showed up. She hasn't been sitting at home, and the press is not going to report when they travel. They're just not going to do it. And from Celibacy, I think Gemma Forte's comments here are completely appropriate, and it's interesting to see someone hedge around why it's been sort of bizarre to see Kate at her 2 public appearances this year. There's feelings of she can do this, but not anything else. Zooming to support a cancer charity or having video conferences with cancer patients would go a long way. People would be less skeptical if there was more disclosure about her diagnosis and treatment. And there are so many people with cancer who have it a lot harder. It's the lesser mortals issue. Remember, lesser mortals? From the last 2 months, I'm sorry, for last month too, when the Telegraph boldly proclaimed that Kate deserves to be praised lavishly for attending trooping when lesser mortals would have stayed home. Lesser mortals being people with cancer and not enough access or support. At least they didn't say that lesser mortals would have avoided coming to Wimbledon. That's only because it's been too soon. They'll do that the next go around. I'm telling you, this whole thing stinks. And I could care less about it, except for the fact that you know that they have been abusing the Sussexes over every little thing, and they have nothing to say about the immaculate heart of Kitty, who comes and goes as she darn well pleases. She benefits from the hate campaign against Meghan. Nobody has benefited more than Kate Middleton. And for her, it's all a big laughing thing. It's all a joke. She laughs about it. Trust me, she does. And that's why when you see her mocking, wearing all of these outfits that she knows is going to bring some type of backlash or comment from people that support Meghan, it's a big joke. This whole thing, William is just part of it. Kate is the other half of it, along with their staff of people, their henchmen, that have been leaking and briefing against the Sussexes. And her role is to go out there and to really sell it by showing that I'm just as important, I work just as hard, knowing that none of that is true. None of that is true. As evident by the 2 engagements that she's had all year long. 2 engagements, that's it. And as soon as Meghan's cooking show, as soon as her lifestyle show is revealed, there's going to be all of those snarky, what do you call it, mocking comments, all of those nasty, stale comments about how is Meghan doing this? Why is she doing something? This is so beneath the royal family. Nobody in the royal family would sell preserves unless you're Charles. That's the tone that they take. And it's all deliberate. Pit one against the other. The only thing is, it's only coming from one side. So I have this. This is from Jeremy Vine.
What about that?
Yeah, so I totally understand why people were delighted to see her. It's good to see her looking well, etc. And, you know, that is beautiful. However, I felt slightly uncomfortable with this because of just thinking about everybody else that's going through cancer treatment. And
Did you? Because I think they were clapping for everybody in a way.
But that's the value of it in a way. If the British royal family have any sort of value to us, it's symbolic, isn't it? So you put those emotions. We don't really know these people, so we're projecting our emotions of stuff we know in our life.
I know someone who's having an operation this week. It's brutal. She's got to keep the show on the road with the kids. She's got to work. It's a real struggle, right? And I'm just saying that I understand totally. Everyone's like, oh, thank God, everybody loves her, right? Of course. And it's wonderful to see her looking healthy and well and happy. But she's going to the tennis, and that's a nice thing. And I just wonder whether I personally think some people will find that a little bit like, okay, you know, I wish I could have the same kind of fortunate position. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
I just thought it was worth bringing that little
But
note.
I think in a way, we clap for her because we clap for everyone, and it's supporting her through her illness. I guess.
Yeah.
Of course, the main event was 21-year-old Carlos Alcaraz defending.
Yeah, the main event for Kate especially was Carlos Alcaraz. So there you go. There you go. It's everything that she's ever wanted, and that is to just show up when it's in her interest, when it pleases her. That's it. And this is going to go on, I think, for a very long time. It is going to go on for a very long time. You see, you see how her face looks there on the right side. This was that day that they went to Wales. It was something about seaweed. Remember, they had that big glob of seaweed. This is why she has that look on her face. Now compare that to the left side. Oh, by the way, Baroness Brooke, who is not a squatty, who is very much a royalist, she says, this is Kate collecting a trophy for having cancer. That's from Baroness Brooks. This is Kate collecting a trophy for having cancer. She has really been on Will and Kate's case, especially when they are doing things that take attention away from the sovereign, like showing up at Troop in the Color, having this big dramatic interest, not working all year, not doing any Zoom calls or anything like that, and then showing up at Troop in the Color, dressed like my fair Duchess, and then coming back a second time this year just to pass out the trophy, not for the women, only for the men. And they do this because they get away with it. If there were more of a public outcry, trust me, you would see more of her. But they have found a way that wipes the slate clean, and she can do as she please whenever she please. Never mind that the Queen worked up until literally the day before she died. Never mind that Philip worked until he was 95 and just too ill before, and he still made. Do you know Philip made more appearances in the last couple of years of his life than she has in these 6 months, and he was pretty much terminally ill. He was really in bad shape, and there was a global pandemic. And Philip still showed up. Hip surgery, Philip showed up. Kate shows up at Wimbledon, no Zoom calls, nothing. But she shows up looking tan, rested, and very robust, all things considered. Shocking. And nobody has anything to say. A staff of 62 people, several homes. And that's all she can do for the year of 2024. 2 engagements. It's almost August. 2 engagements. And then as soon as she walks away from Wimbledon, she's on vacation. She's on vacation. Okay. This is of course Misan Harriman at work. Beautiful, beautiful image. Love it. As you can see, Misan, volunteers save the children. Misan is using his camera to give people voice. And that is when he's not actually sitting in front of the camera and expressing his feelings about some of the things that's happening in this world. God bless Misan Harriman. What's his name? Keir Starmer. There he is holding hands with his wife. How awful is that? What a public spectacle. Get a room. Ain't that what they say about Harry and Meghan? Right? Who does that? And already the British people are complaining. Not all of the people, of course, just select people. Already they're complaining. It's almost an insult to humanity to refer to them as people, isn't it? The Telegraph. Why does Keir Starmer hold his wife's hand like Harry and Meghan? Like that's such a crime, right? The United Kingdom elected a new prime minister this month, and Keir Starmer's honeymoon period seemed especially brief. The Telegraph is already complaining about Keir Starmer's warmth toward his wife, Lady Victoria Starmer, as in British people are very upset that the Starmers hold hands in public and seem to have an affectionate and close marriage. This is not the British way. I would ordinarily just chalk it up to differences in national politics. But then the Telegraph decided to drag the Duke and Duchess of Sussex into the conversation. With married couples should never hold hands. I crap you not. Some highlights from this absolute insane Telegraph piece. Anyway, you have to go to Celibici to see the rest of that. But that is a thing now. They have made a thing out of them holding hands. Of course they have. And there's some images of, the way the Sussexes has publicly shown affection toward one another. They have committed a terrible faux pas. What a crime. And as you can see on the left side, whenever Meghan makes an appearance, Vogue magazine, they go out of their way day after day. They, in different countries, they feature Meghan in Vogue. And of course, there's individual stories, about Meghan and whatever she wore. But if you take a look on the right side, Kate is just mixed in with the crowd. There was nothing so special or unique about that purple dress that it was worth mentioning. So they just mixed her in with everybody else. Typical. And of course, there's this. It seems as though the Will and Kate cannot get enough of walking in the Sussex's shadow. Everything they do, they love to try to catch up with them. In this case, they're trying to get the old copyright going. Although it seems as though or not copyright, but trademark, but it seems as though it has been, see there it says refusal, proceed, was that processed by anyway, I think they got turned down. They tried it and they got turned down. It's what they deserve. And how about this? The Black Panther brand new 100% affordable apartments in West Oakland. As a matter of fact, at the ribbon cutting to open this apartment building, I don't know who that was that cut the ribbon, but she said, "All power to the people," snip, and she cut the ribbon. How about that? The Black Panther affordable housing. I love it. And it's been 4 years since we lost John Lewis, and the King Center remembers John Lewis. He was born in 1940 and died July 17th of 2020. John Lewis, of course, a giant of civil rights, a United States congressman. And anyway, he says, what was that his saying, get in good trouble? Meaning that if you're going to get in trouble, make sure you do it for the greater good. Do it to help people. And there's John Kennedy. The photo on the left, I've seen that one before, but the one on the right side here, that was the first time I saw that was today, and I thought I'd share it with you. Making their way to the Oval Office. There's a colonnade that goes from the main house to the Oval Office. And whenever you see the president walking along that colonnade, that's where they leave from the main house and make their way over. You can also do that without going outside, but they're by the Rose Garden there. Spare, still not available in paperback. Don't know why, but it's still not available in paperback. I'm just going to assume that they're making so much money from the hardcover. So I don't know. But still no paperback. So anyway, that is it for today. Thank you all very much. Whenever you see our queens, it's time to go. You know what that means. And thank you to the moderators for keeping this a safe space as per usual. Let's see here. Let me find an appropriate quote to end today. Something unifying, maybe. Oh, I forgot to share that one with you. I have to do that tomorrow. Okay, here goes. I can choose either to be a victim of the world or an adventurer, search of treasure. It's all a question of how I view my life. Yes, I can choose to be a victim of the world or an adventurer in search of treasure. It's all a question of how I view my life. All right. Thank you so much. Love you guys. I will see you all tomorrow. Thank God that slide was working today.